So on the screen, you can see that we encountered an error. Noticed how the cabling has wrapped around the rotator, which would account for some of the odd noises I was hearing in my sleep last night while I was dreaming. Apparently, it was the sound of this trying to move. I would half wake up and hear a kind of a clicking sound, and it turns out it was this. Okay. So that means that we've got some error happening in the system, and there's a chance that that error is happening in the math that I wrote. That's right, taking accountability for my work here. The code that I wrote that's doing the math for determining how far we should go when we want to step the antenna to a certain number of degrees. So I've devised a test. We're going to implement it here in a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of duct tape, chewing gum, and barbed wire to make it happen. And we're going to take another look at these numbers, and we're going to try to... Oh, gosh, I don't want to do this because of how long it's going to take, but I'm going to do it because it's necessary. And we're going to come up with maybe a table in Excel that shows if I move this many steps, this is where we are pointed. And I have to do that over and over and over, and I have to reset manually each time. It's crazy. But we're going to do it so that we can try to get the math right, especially since we have the new bearings in here. My old way of doing it, my old calculations are probably no longer valid because now we have no slack, we've got no slop, we've got no backlash. So I think we need to redo the math because pretty obviously there's enough error in the math that and we don't know that it's the math. That's just one potential hypothesis. And one way of resolving that is by running some tests. So if I were to look for an artifact in evidence to try to support that hypothesis, I would try to run some tests. So that's what we're going to do to start off tonight. There's many other things that I would prefer to do, but in order for us to continue, I need to confirm that the motor is actually turning where we think it's supposed to be turning. And not only do I have to do it on that axis, well, the same math is being used for that axis, so we'll just do it on the x-axis because that's pretty much how I can mount my my compass. I have an actual magnetic around here somewhere, but I'm going to use the telephone's compass. Okay, so let's get it started on the phone. We're going to get our navigational aids started on the phone. And it's wanting me to calibrate the phone, so we'll calibrate. So I'm spinning the phone in figure eights so it can go through, can go through their calibration. We do the same thing with the rotator when we're trying to calibrate. So I've got to secure the phone to the... I was thinking about how I could improvise a test today, and this was the solution I came up with. Try to get it on there as 90 as I can. And secure the phone to as best as I can. We're going to have to do it again and again and again until we get it right. Okay, so now we have navigation. Now, I need on this phone. Just for fun, while the ISS is overhead, we'll have the phone go ahead and track that. It turns out just at random that the ISS is within range. And I don't know if you all can hear that when it does the sounds. I think I've got system sound. We're not going to be looking at the phone. We're going to look at the phone over here on the computer. There's a way I can remote into the Bluetooth. And so that's what I've got to try to remember how to do. It may be done over Wi-Fi. Let's see if we can get Wi-Fi turned on. Okay, there it goes. Look, I have to jump through a bunch of hoops. That is not what I'm wanting to do. Okay, let's try it again. So if you're just coming in, you're set up for a test. Yep, looks like I'll have to do the phone setup before I attach it to the rotator. So turn off tracking for a moment so I can gain access to the phone again. And I'll cut all that tape off and mount it. Hey, wow. I just learned something. Screen. Hit it with some of this scotch tape and then peel it off. Wow, that's clean. Just learned a lesson. Oh my, that's clean. No more fingerprints? Oh, love it. Wow, that's a clean screen. I gotta remember that trick. Some scotch tape on it. And then peel it off screen. The tool I want to use is called Samsung Dex. I want to see if I can use Sam's to access the cell phone wirelessly. That way I can observe the screen on the cell phone while it's used as a sensor. In order to get